One of the things that bugs me the most is when I hear managers say, we have to motivate our people. The word becomes so commonplace, and that phrase just happens all the time. We talk about, you have to motivate them, or I have to motivate you. It just rolls off the tongue so easily, and we probably hear it several times a week. The issue, though, becomes when we think about motivation as something that I can do to you, it shows that we really don't understand the nature of motivation. Most motivation is intrinsic. That means I motivate myself. You can create conditions in which I'll choose to be motivated or not be motivated, but generally it's going to be my choice at the end of the day. So I think what we need to do is help leaders understand that when we use the word motivate as a verb, something I do to you, we've got it wrong. What a leader's responsibility is to create a culture in which people are so engaged in the work and so excited about what we're doing that we generate our own motivation. If we use the word motivation as a noun rather than a verb, then I think it shows a better understanding of what motivation is all about. Frederick Hertzberg, back in the 1950s, he's a behavioral scientist. He did a lot of studies about motivation, and he found that he actually separated things out into what he called hygiene factors, which are things like the size of my office or the closeness of a parking space, or how good the air quality is around our office, things like that. Those are what he called hygiene factors, and they really focus on whether or not employees are satisfied. Lack of good hygiene factors is going to cause dissatisfaction. And another hygiene factor that's very common is pay. So lack of adequate pay is going to cause dissatisfaction. But if I pay you a little more money, that's really not going to change your motivation in the long term. It might make you feel, it certainly would make you feel a little better in the short term. But the reason you do a good job and the reason you show up and put all your energy into the work is not because of the size of the paycheck every week. That's what makes the difference. So we need to think of motivation factors, and Hertzberg defined those as things like authority, autonomy, recognition, those kinds of things. The ability to do the job the way I think it should be done and not be micromanaged. Those are things that create motivation within me. So every time we hear the word motivate being used as a verb, I need to motivate you, we ought to have a little bell go off inside of our head, say, wait a minute, that's not exactly the best way to think about motivation.